Hello and welcome to Next IS. Today we are going to discuss environment and ecology in our new initiative where we will be discussing the weekly current affairs from past week. So today we are going to discuss the current affairs of environment and ecology from 1st March to 7th March. Right, so first of all we will discuss what we are going to discuss altogether the contents of the today's class. Those will be species in news, and the first species is Himalayan Siro and the second species will be black-browed babbler. Then the second thing we are going to discuss is basically the third thing, Jim Corbett National Park, then NHRC notice on Hirakud Dam, then Mullaperiyar Dam, Nag River Pollution Abatement Project, lavender brings profit to Doda farmers, which is also being called as the Purple Revolution. Then we will be discussing marine spatial planning and World Wildlife Day. In World Wildlife Day, we will try to discuss the all other initiatives that the government of India has taken so far. Apart from that, we will be discussing the recent wildfires in the Simlipal. This is in Odisha. Then we will be discussing two more prelims related topics: Sahara Week Global Energy and Environment Leadership Awards, and at last we will be discussing Pench National Park, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so let's start the discussions for today. The first topic is Himalayan Siro. So Himalayan Siro, what is Himalayan Siro? These are the spotted for the first time in Assam. That's why they are in the news. They have been spotted for the first time in where? In Assam. So they have a very unique thing that they have a resemblance for a cross between a goat, a donkey, a cow and a pig. So किसके साथ resemblance है इनकी? Goat, donkey, cow and pig. Right. So this is important. इनका क्या क्या किससे मैच करता है? मीडियम साइज मैमल विद अ लार्ज हेड, थिक नेक, शॉर्ट लिम्स, long mule-like ears and a coat of dark hair. There are several species of seros. They are generally found in only Asia only. They are herbivores. Right. So this is important that they are herbivores. यहाँ पे आपको दिख भी जाएगा इमेज में. So they have a very unique features. यहाँ पे आपको horns भी दिख रहे होंगे, ears भी दिख रहे होंगे. So they resemble to all goat, cow, donkey and pig. सो हिमालयन सीरोज को हम और किस नाम से जानते हैं? दे आर ऑल्सो नोन एज कैप्रिकॉर्निस, सुमेट्रिनिसिस, थार, रिस्ट्रिक्टेड इन द हिमालयन रीजन. दे आर नोन टू बी फाउंड इन द ईस्टर्न, सेंट्रल एंड वेस्टर्न हिमालयस बट नॉट इन द ट्रांस हिमालयन रीजन. राइट, IUCN की लिस्ट में अगर हम इनकी बात करें सो दे लाई इन द वनरेबल लिस्ट. एंड इन इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द साइट्स एंड द वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, देन दे आर इन द शेड्यूल 1 ऑफ और द अपेंडिक्स 1 ऑफ साइट एंड शेड्यूल 1 ऑफ वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट. Right, then moving to the next topic. See, what happens is these kind of endangered species, you should know about the bare minimum about these things. In general, it is rare that a tough question is being asked directly from a particular species until and unless it is in the news for a very long time or there is some project going on or something like this. Like इस बार जैसे कि हमारे पास elephants के ऊपर questions पूछे थे, those were the deep questions which are generally not discussed in your classes or the current affairs also. But those are the very keystone species, so that's why such kind of questions can be asked over there क्योंकि वो continuous news में रहते हैं. Then moving to the next topic, that is black-browed babbler. So why it is in the news? It is in the news because it has been seen after 170 years. And where it has been seen? It has not been seen in India. It is been seen in Indonesian Borneo, right? So where it is being seen? Indonesian Borneo. Basically, Borneo has 3 parts. We will be discussing that, and it has been seen after 170 years. So it's a, as you can see over here, it is just जैसे हमारे आपने देखा होगा कि आसपास चिड़िया जो होती हैं छोटी छोटी, it is like that only, small brown gray songbird. This is important. It's a songbird with a distinctive broad black eye stripes running all around its head. Right, scientific name as I've told in the last class also. You can just skip it. It is a songbird. It is endemic to Borneo only. Right. Then due to insufficient information, IUCN has not classified it. This is important. So basically IUCN has not classified it क्योंकि इनके बारे में बहुत ही limited information है. And they are endemic to where? Endemic to Borneo only. Right. Then what are the threats to it? Agricultural, logging allowed within protected areas, plantation for rubber and palm oil, and the drought fires. So now you will see where is Borneo located. This is the area. If you can see it in the map, this is the area over here. It is Indonesia over here, and इसके जो 3 parts हैं, that is Borneo in itself a country. Then Palau Borneo, it's a part of Malaysia, and then Kalimantan, where it has been found, it is a part of Indonesia. It is the new capital of Indonesia, Kalimantan, and it is part of Indonesia. So these are the three parts of Borneo Island, third largest island in the world and largest in the Asia. So this is also important. This island in itself is important. At its geographic center of maritime Southeast Asia, in relation to major Indonesian islands, it is located north of Java, west of Sulawesi, and east of Sumatra. Right? You can see it in the map also. Then we will be discussing the next topic. The next topic is Jim Corbett National Park. Jim Corbett National Park, it's very unique. कई बार आपके प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन आ भी चुके हैं. First national park, first tiger reserve. So all this is Jim Corbett National Park. It is located where? It is located in Nainital, Uttarakhand. Right. The area is not that important. The whole area comprises of hills, marshy depressions, riverine belts, grasslands, and a large lake. So basically जो यहाँ पे important rivers हैं वो कौन सी हैं? रामगंगा, then Kosi, and the third is Sonanandi. So just important rivers, remember them. जो हम अगर जिम कॉर्बेट नेशनल पार्क की बात करते हैं तो these are the important rivers that are being there. So has the glory of being the India's oldest national park. It was known as the Heli National Park before. It was started in or established in 1936. Later it was renamed as the Corbett National Park. Corbett Tiger Reserve is also there, which is the first tiger reserve. It was established in 1973 जब हमारा project Tiger start हुआ था, right? Apart from that, if we talk about the flora and fauna, so they have the total area, out of the total area, 75% of the total area of Corbett is dominated by sal forest. So this is important that it is mostly covered by, यहाँ की अगर हम सबसे important fauna में हम flora में अगर हम बात करते हैं तो सबसे important जो species है वो कौन सी है? That is the sal forest. Apart from that, if we talk about the fauna, then we will find Royal Bengal tigers over here, endangered Asiatic elephants, and critically endangered species like ghadial. Right, these are the other species that will be found over here. Then this is the diagram or the map which shows that where is they have the Sonanandi Wildlife Sanctuary, Corbett National Park, and then Ramganga Reservoir. These are the three important things that you will find over here. Then moving to the next topic. Next topic is NHRC notice on Hirakud Dam. Now it's a very old dispute that is being lasting from last 6 decades or 60 years. So recently the notice has been given by National Human Rights Commission. ये क्यों हुआ था actually? Because a lot of people has to migrate from here when the Hirakud Dam was constructed on the Mahanadi River. So Hirakud Dam कहाँ पे है ये पता होना चाहिए. That it is being established on the Mahanadi River. Now इसके बारे में और थोड़ा सा हम देख लेते हैं. So when the dam was built, the total area submerged includes agricultural land and the government land, and total of 111 villages were fully submerged and 174 villages were partially submerged. So इन लोगों को यहाँ से migrate करना पड़ा था, and this is the issue. It is a multi-purpose scheme intended for flood control, irrigation and power generation. So महानदी बेसिन की अगर हम बात करते हैं, it is the 8th largest river basin in the country. अब जैसे ही हम कोई भी river वगैरह की बात करते हैं, so it's a peninsular river. So peninsular river है तो इसके हमें ये देखना पड़ेगा कि इसकी tributaries क्या हैं. कोई भी river होती है उसकी tributary वगैरह we have to look into it. Right. So Mahanadi basin is divided into basically 3 sub basins, namely upper, middle and lower Mahanadi. Right. The upper basin is a saucer shape. The upper basin is a saucer shape and lies mostly in the Chhattisgarh district. The Mahanadi is one of the major east flowing peninsular river. It flows in the east direction to where? Bay of Bengal. Right, it originates from where? It originates from Dhamtari. It originates from Dhamtari district of Chhattisgarh and drains into Bay of Bengal. It ranks second after Godavari. So you know Mahanadi, Godavari. This is the sequence. If you see Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, right? East flowing rivers की अगर हम बात करते हैं, so these are the major rivers in the east flowing river in the peninsular India. So it ranks second after the Godavari river among the peninsular rivers in respect of water potentials. So second, ये याद रखना, second हम कहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं? सिर्फ peninsular rivers में. If we talk about the Himalayan rivers also, then the number will be like it was given 8th river, 8th largest basin in the country. Right, the 3 right bank tributaries are Sionath, Ibi and Tel. Sionath is the longest tributary of Mahanadi, as you can see it over here. So basically Dhantari से start होती है. कई बार आपको generally वो भी पूछे जा सकते हैं कि प्लेसेस किस किस से पास होती है, सिटीज़ किस किस से पास होती है. सो इंपॉर्टेंट सिटीज़ दैट लाई ऑन द महानदी रिवर आर रायपुर, संबलपुर, कटक एंड पारादीप. Right? So the central government constituted Mahanadi Water Dispute Tribunal in 2018 for resolving dispute between छत्तीसगढ़ एंड उड़ीसा. सो ये भी पता होना चाहिए कि कौन कौन से स्टेट्स के बीच में डिस्प्यूट्स है. तो डिस्प्यूट इज बिटवीन छत्तीसगढ़ एंड उड़ीसा. सो बेसिकली स्टार्ट ये छत्तीसगढ़ से होती है एंड देन इट गोज टू उड़ीसा एंड देन फाइनली टू बे ऑफ बंगाल. देन द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज मल्लापेरियार डैम. सो इट्स अ 126-year-old बराज. बेसिकली यहाँ पे तमिलनाडु के पास इसकी तमिलनाडु के पास इन प्रिंसिपल स्टेट के साथ जब इन्होंने साइन किया था तो वहाँ से इन्हें लीज एग्रीमेंट तमिलनाडु को मिला था. बट अभी क्या चल रहा है कि बिकॉज द टॉक्स आर गोइंग ऑन टू डीकमीशन द डैम. डीकमीशन क्यों कर रहे हैं? बिकॉज द डैम हैज एज्ड. राइट. सो तमिलनाडु इज सेइंग दैट वी शुड नॉट डीकमीशन दिस डैम क्योंकि तमिलनाडु कैन टेक द वाटर फ्रॉम द मल्लापेरियार डैम. सो बेसिकली मल्लापेरियार एज अ नेम सजेस्ट ये कौन सी रिवर के ऊपर है? केरला में पेरियार रिवर के ऊपर है. सो इट्स अ 126-year-old बराज दैट हैज डेंजरसली आउटलिव्ड इट्स 50 year ऑफ लाइफ. सो इट हैज़ अ 50 year ऑफ लाइफ एंड अभी इसकी एज क्या हो चुकी है? 126. इसलिए इसे डीकमीशन करने की बात चल रही है. इट इज सिचुएटेड हाई अप इन द वेस्टर्न घाट्स एडजेसेंट टू केरला's परियार वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी. सो इसमें दो चीज़ें आपको पता चल रही हैं. एक तो मल्लापेरियार डैम किसके ऊपर सिचुएटेड है? एडजेसेंट टू द परियार वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी. और परियार वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी आपकी है कहाँ पे? इट्स इन Kerala. So Mallaperiyar is listed among the world's big dam that need to be decommissioned in a report by the UN University Institute for Water, Environment and Health. So UN University की एक रिपोर्ट थी. क्या नाम था उसका? Institute for Water, Environment and Health. उन्होंने इसे डिकमीशन करने के लिए बोला है. एज इट इज़ डेंजरस टू बोथ एंटीग्यूटी एंड सिस्मिक जोन की वजह से इट इज़ डेंजरस. एक तो यहाँ पे सिस्मिक एक्टिविटीज थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा होती हैं एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इट इज़ ओल्ड. सो इसके बारे में डीकमीशनिंग ऑफ मल्लापेरियार इज स्ट्रांगली अपोज्ड बाय हुम? तमिलनाडु. And why? Because it inherited the lease agreement between the former princely state of Travancore, that is now Kerala, and the British government. The lease allows Tamil Nadu to operate the dam and divert 640 million cubic meters. You don't need to remember the amount of water annually for irrigation and power generation through a tunnel bored into the Western Ghat mountains that form a wall between the two states. So Western Ghat के जो mountains हैं, they form a wall between what? Between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Then we move to the next topic, that is Nag River Pollution Abatement Project. This project has been approved in order to treat the sewage and industrial waste flowing into the Nag River. अभी जो नाग रिवर है ये बेसिकली द नेम इज ड्राइव फ्रॉम बिकॉज इट पासिस थ्रू नागपुर इन महाराष्ट्र. सो दैट इज वाई द नेम इज नाग रिवर. अभी इसके ऊपर पॉल्यूशन अबेटमेंट प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च किया गया रिसेंटली. पॉल्यूशन अबेटमेंट प्रोजेक्ट में होगा क्या? इट इज़ टू ट्रीट द सीवेज एंड इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट फ्लोइंग इनटू द नाग रिवर. It flows through the Nagpur city. Its implementation will reduce pollution levels in terms of untreated sewage, flowing solid waste and other impurities flowing into the Nag River and its tributaries. It has been approved under the National River Conservation Plan. This is important. It has been approved under what? It has been approved under the National River Conservation Plan, which is implemented by whom? National River Conservation Directorate. Then we will talk about the next topic. Next topic is lavender. Lavender brings profit for Doda farmers. In this topic, we will be discussing two things. One is your aroma mission. Aroma mission किसका है? It is from CSIR. Right. The second thing is that it is also known as the purple revolution. So if there can be a news, there can be a question that recently seen in the news, purple revolution is related to what? It is related to lavender, and it is grown where? It is being grown in the Doda. Doda is situated where? In Jammu and Kashmir. So income of farmers had quadrupled. Basically, these farmers were growing what they were growing before. They were growing maize, and now they have been shifted to lavender. Lavender is basically, if you know that it is being used the aromatic for the aromatic flowers and the oil that is being taken from it. The lavender oil can sell up to like rupees 10,000 per liter. So this is very beneficial for the farmers. If they are processing the flower, then the cost will, their income will increase many times. So lavender was introduced by Indian Institute of Integrative Medicines in the temperate region of Jammu and Kashmir under CSIR Aroma Mission in 2018. Tried to popularize it in Doda, Kishtawar district, Rajouri district. So these are the three districts: Doda, Kishtawar and Rajouri district. The farmers get help from IIM Jammu to sell their produce. There are 4 distillation units that have been set up by the CSIR and IIM Jammu. Right, so we will now see about ki basically what is the outcome, what are the benefits of lavender, what is lavender, iske basically use kya hai, these are the important things, and then we will move towards the aroma mission. So lavender oil sells at least rupees 10,000 per liter, which helps in increasing farmers income. It also provides employment to the district's women farmer. Apart from that, lavender genus is lavandula, genus of over 30 species of the mint family. They belong to the family of mint, native to countries bordering मेडिटेरेनियन. सो ये बेसिकली अगर आप देखें तो इंडिया का नेटिव नहीं है, बट इट कैन बी ग्रोन इन द colder regions of India like Jammu and Kashmir. Lavender species are common in herb gardens for their fragrant leaves and attractive flowers. Lavenders are small evergreen shrubs with grey-green, hoary, linear leaves. The purple flowers are sparsely arranged on spikes at the tips of long bare stalks and produce small nut-like fruits. At present, large-scale lavender cultivation is limited to Jammu and Kashmir, but the government is planning to launch the same thing in Himachal Pradesh after seeing its success, and Arunachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand are also being encouraged usage. The plants are widely cultivated for their essential oil, as we have discussed, which are used in scent for a variety of products because of the smell, the fragrance that they provide. The dried flowers, for example, have long been used in sachets for scent chests and closets. And the ancient Romans used lavender in their baths also. Lavender is sometimes also called as is also used to flavor beverages and sweets and has a number of applications in herbal medicine. So aroma mission में भी basically हमारा focus यही है. जो aroma mission है उसमें दो ही चीज़ों पे focus है. एक तो medicine से related हो सकता है वो flower, दूसरा of the aroma. Aroma is basically the fragrance. Right. So lavender oil or lavender flower oil is obtained by distillation of flower and is used chiefly in fine perfumes and cosmetics. So this is the aroma mission. It was launched in 2016. Launched by whom? Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, have aromatic medicinal properties. There are these two things. It has the aroma and it has medicinal properties. It is envisaged to bring transformative change in the aroma sector through desired intervention. और इसका benefit क्या होगा कि India will be at the international market because of its aromatic flowers. It is expected to enable Indian farmers and aroma industry to become global leaders. This is also one of the benefits in the production and export of some other essential oils on the pattern of menthol, mint. This is expected to provide substantial benefits to the farmer in achieving higher profit, utilization of wasteland and protection of their crops from wild and grazing animals. This is also important part. So generally जहाँ पे aromatic plants लगाए जाते हैं वो कहाँ पे लगाए जाते हैं? They are being grown on wasteland, जहाँ पे वैसे भी कुछ अच्छी क्रॉप्स नहीं हो रही थी. इस मिशन के ही पार्ट के थ्रू कहाँ पे एक और स्टेट में अभी थोड़े दिन पहले न्यूज़ में था, एंड दैट वाज मेघालय. दे आर ऑल्सो प्रमोटिंग दिस अरोमा मिशन एंड आस्किंग टू ग्रो such kind of aromatic flowers like lemongrass. In Meghalaya, they have sanctioned that in every district 50 acres of the land in every district will cultivate aromatic medicinal plants. Right, then moving to the next topic, that is marine spatial planning, जिसे हम अभी आगे बोलेंगे MSP. So आप confuse ना करें, this is not the MSP that is being given on the crop. It is here referred to as marine spatial planning. Recently news में क्यों है? Because India and Norway, which country? India and Norway have signed a agreement to jointly work on the area of marine spatial planning. Basically इसमें हम लोग क्या करेंगे? इसमें India is going to have analyze and allocate the basically this is a part of the Indo-Norway Integrated Ocean Initiative under the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the two countries in 2019. It is a public process of analyzing and allocating the spatial and temporal distribution of human activities in marine areas. Basically, if you talk about the blue economy is also talking about the same thing, using the marine life or the marine resources, I would say, that is substantially, right? So this is the main purpose of this, that the marine spatial planning, it aims to achieve ecological, economic and social objective. Elements planning along the additional elements of the implementation, enforcement, monitoring, evaluation, research, public participation, financing, all of which must be present to carry out effective management. Over time, the outcomes will be the process should result in spatial vision and comprehensive management plan for marine areas to achieve that vision. सो इफ़ यू सी ओवर है, इसके बेसिकली 4 पार्ट्स हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इज प्लानिंग, कि आप कैसे हम इसको रिसोर्सेज को यूज़ कर सकते हैं. उसके लिए फिर हम डाटा का इवोल्यूशन करेंगे. डेटा कहाँ से आएगा हमारे पास, जो हम स्पेशल एंड टेम्पोरल डेटा कलेक्ट करेंगे. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देन वी विल सी द स्पेशल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ दैट इकोसिस्टम विच कैन बी यूज्ड, सोशो इकोनॉमिक एनालिसिस, ओशनोग्राफिक एनालिसिस, देन बायोलॉजिकल एनालिसिस और हैबिटेट एनालिसिस, एंड देन देयर विल बी द मैनेजमेंट एप्लीकेशन विच विल हेल्प इन यूजिंग द मेरीन इकोसिस्टम. राइट. सो मेजर हाईलाइट्स इफ वी टॉक अबाउट कि इसमें बेसिकली हमारा एमएसपी या मेरीन स्पेशल प्रोग्राम में होगा क्या प्लानिंग में. इट विल बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय होम, इट विल बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ अर्थ साइंस. सो इट विल बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ अर्थ साइंस थ्रू नेशनल सेंटर फॉर कोस्टल रिसर्च. इट विल बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय होम, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ अर्थ साइंस थ्रू होम, नेशनल सेंटर फॉर कोस्टल रिसर्च. सो किसके साथ है, नॉर्वे के साथ है. तो नॉर्वे की भी कोई एक एजेंसी होगी, द नॉर्वेजियन एनवायरमेंट एजेंसी इज ऑल्सो देयर विच इज वर्किंग थ्रू द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फॉरेन अफेयर्स नॉर्वे इन इंडिया to ensure human activities at sea take place in efficient, safe and substantial manner. This is their aim, that to ensure that the human activities at sea take place in efficient, safe and substantial manner. This is the main important thing. Efficient and safe तो होना ही चाहिए. Apart from that there should be the substantial manner में जो भी आप marine resources को use कर रहे हो, such as energy, transportation, fisheries, aquaculture and tourism. Its primary phase, NCCR will develop the MSP framework for पुडुचेरी एंड लक्षद्वीप. सो सबसे पहले हम किस पे वर्क करने वाले हैं, पुडुचेरी एंड लक्षद्वीप पे. वाई वी हैव बीन सिलेक्टिंग these two places only, first of all in phase 1, because of the industries, fisheries and the tourism that is there already. So these sites have been chosen due to their setups with unique opportunities for multiple sectors such as industries, fisheries and tourism. The government of India's initial investment will be 8 to 10 crores per annum. In future, MSP framework in these two areas can be replicated in other coastal areas. So coastal areas हम वाकई इसे basically अभी हम एक minor pilot project पे हम इसे use करके देखना चाह रहे हैं कि इससे what can be the benefits from this. If it's successful, then we will implement it in other areas. The World Bank and the United Nations Environment Program UNEP has also shown interest in supporting the MOES in conducting MSP. It will aid, basically अगर इसकी significance की अगर हम बात करें तो it will aid the development of multiple economic sectors and stakeholders in a greater number of coastal areas in India. Then it is globally identified as a tool for sustainable and integrated ocean management. It is noted area for work in India's draft blue economic policy, as we have already discussed what is blue economy. So उसी के लिए blue economic policy जो India develop करना चाहती है, it can be the, basically it will provide as a draft for that. So the government of India's vision for New India by 2030 highlights blue economy as one of the core dimensions in the growth. So this is also important कि इसलिए हम लोग नॉर्वे और बाकी कंट्रीज़ के साथ भी कुछ कुछ ऐसे मिशन कर रहे हैं. बेसिकली सीबेड मिशन हो गया, MSP हो गया. सो MSP इज़ नॉट एन एंड इट सेल्फ but a practical way to create and establish a more rational use of marine space and the interactions among its users. It balances demands for development with the need to protect the environment and deliver social and economic outcomes in an open and planned way. So if we talk about what is this National Center for Coastal Research, so basically it is under the Department of Ocean Development, established as a project directed initially, but after that it has been converted to NCCB. In order to provide a long-term organizational framework to continue these research activities, the project directorate is designated as the NCCR and an attached office to Ministry of Earth Sciences. So basically है किसके अंडर, Ministry of Earth Science के अंडर. इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, to develop and improve the country's capability in addressing the challenges, problems prevailing in the coastal zone which have societal, economic and environmental implications. NCCR has also developed coastal management plans for Chennai, Goa and Gulf of Kutch which proved successful. So इससे पहले ये किस में काम कर चुके हैं, they have developed the coastal management plan for whom Chennai, Goa and Gulf of Kutch in Gujarat. Then if we talk about the blue economy is a concept to promote economic growth, social inclusion and preservation or improvement of livelihood while at the same time ensuring environmental sustainability. राइट, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट कि ये सब ग्रोथ के साथ साथ बेसिकली फोकस्ड होना चाहिए एनवायरमेंटल सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे, सो दैट वी कैन यूज द रिसोर्सेज फ्रॉम द मेरीन लाइफ और द मेरीन इकोसिस्टम एंड वी कैन यूज इट सस्टेनेबली. ये आइडिया कहाँ से इवॉल्व हुआ? द आइडिया गॉट अ बूस्ट फ्रॉम गंटर पॉलीज बुक द ब्लू इकोनॉमी, 10 years, 100 innovations and 100 million jobs. So just remember this book, it can be asked in your prelims. The blue economy consists of sectors whose returns are linked to the living renewable resources of the oceans such as fisheries as well as those related to non-living and therefore non-renewable resources including extractive industries such as dredging, seabed mining, offshore oil and gas, right? So these are the areas that will be covered under blue economy. So if you see the blue economy diagram over here, the blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources. Sustainable use focus on the word for economic growth, improved livelihood and ocean ecosystem health. The blue economy encompasses many activities like renewable energy, tourism, climate change, then we have fisheries, maritime export and waste management. Now the next topic is World Wildlife Day. It is being celebrated on 3rd March every year, and it was chosen. Why the 3rd March is chosen? Because 3rd March is the day when the CITES was adopted. So CITES is a convention on international trade of endangered species of wild flora and fauna. So it was signed on 3rd March 1973, and that is why UN General Assembly selected this day as the World Wildlife Day on 20th December 2013 at its 68th session. The aim was to celebrate and raise awareness about animals and plants. So basically World Wildlife Day है, so इसका main motive क्या है कि to create awareness among the people about the plants and the animals both. What was the theme of this year's World Wildlife Day? The theme for this year was forest and livelihoods, sustaining people and planet. So just remember the theme: forests and livelihood, sustaining people and planet. So significance of the day: spreads awareness about wildlife and related crimes, celebrates symbiotic relationship between humans and forests, then increased discussion between the ecosystem services. Now there are 4 types of ecosystem services, and those are the supporting services, regulating services, cultural services and the provisioning services. So to increase the discussion about the ecosystem services in discussion किसके बीच में? Between the citizens and organizations and governments and all those things which are getting impacted because of the ecosystem. It pays tribute to the tribal culture also. The indigenous people currently manage around 28% of the forest land. This is also important. It promotes ecotourism. Various national parks and their flora and fauna gets limelight, and hence it helps people to realize the tourism potential. तो वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ डे 2021 सेलिब्रेशंस की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो बेसिकली फॉरेस्ट वाइल्ड लाइफ मैनेजमेंट मॉडल्स एंड प्रैक्टिसेस वर रिलीज्ड इन द यूएन फॉरेस्ट बेस्ड लाइवलीहुड दैट कैन हेल्प इन सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इंक्लूडिंग ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिसेस एंड नॉलेज वर आल्सो प्रमोटेड एंड पब्लिसाइज्ड. कम्युनिटी एंगेजमेंट वाज इन प्लेस. यू कैन इवन डाउनलोड द सोशल मीडिया किट फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ फॉर द वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ डे. नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट, ठीक है ये तो एक डे हो गया, इतना बेसिक शुड बी मोर देन इनफ. But if we move towards the next thing, that will be the steps taken by India. Step that we will be discussing will be the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. It created many protected areas like national park, biodiversity reserves, community reserves, and all those things. Then apart from that, then we started with the Project Tiger next year only. It was initiated in 1972 only. So it helped in the conservation of both tigers and the entire ecosystem. The project is sponsored by whom? Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It started with very less number of tiger reserves, but now it has reached to the 51 tiger reserves overall in India, and that are situated in more than 17 regions. Then we have also created the Tiger Task Force. Tiger is basically a keystone species, like tiger हो गया, elephant हो गया. So they are very important from the food chain की ये food chain में सबसे ऊपर बैठते हैं, और they maintain the biodiversity of an area or maintain the biodiversity balance or ecological balance in that area, right? Then success की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो increasing population of tiger in the reserve areas. Recently you must have seen कि जो भी हमारा अभी recently tiger census आया था, we have almost doubled our tiger population and it has reached more than 2900 or almost around 3000 tigers, right? Then the next will be Project Elephant. It was initiated in 1992, which aims to conserve elephants and their habitat and of the migratory routes of developing scientific and trend management measures. So some of the measures are welfare of domestic elephants, mitigation of human elephant conflict. इसी की वजह से आपने देखा होगा कि मैन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट या फिर ह्यूमन एलिफेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को बचाने के लिए देयर हैज़ बीन डेवलपमेंट ऑफ डिफरेंट एलिफेंट कॉरिडोर्स इन डिफरेंट एरियाज, जो कि जनरली न्यूज़ में रहते हैं. सो कीप अ टैब ऑन दैट सो दैट यू कैन राइट कि कौन सा एलिफेंट कॉरिडोर और द एलिफेंट रिजर्व या फिर जो भी नेशनल पार्क है वो किस एरिया में सिचुएटेड है. जनरली बहुत ज़्यादा न्यूज़ में क्योंकि ये रहते हैं. देन वी टॉक अबाउट द क्रोकोडाइल कंजर्वेशन प्रोजेक्ट, दिस इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। घड़ियाल्स की जो हम बात करते हैं, यूपीएससी ऑलरेडी एक बार क्वेश्चन पूछ भी चुका है। सो द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द क्रोकोडाइल प्रोजेक्ट इज टू प्रोटेक्ट द रिमेनिंग पॉपुलेशन ऑफ क्रोकोडाइल and their natural habitat by establishing sanctuaries to promote captive breeding, to improve management and to involve the local people in the project intimately. Success is basically, if we talk about the success, that now after the initiation of the project, 4,000 ghadials, 1,800 muggers and 1,500 saltwater crocodiles have been restocked. Then the next project will be UNDP Sea Turtle Project. सो टू कंजर्व ऑलिव रिडल टर्टल्स, ये हमने लास्ट टाइम भी बात की थी। ये कहाँ पे मिलते हैं हमें? ऑलिव रिडल टर्टल्स आर बेसिकली वेयर आर दे फेमस? चिलिका लेक के पास, गहीर माथा बीच, राइट। देन इनिशिएटेड बाय वाइल्ड लाइफ इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडिया देहरादून, इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी हो गई इसकी वाइल्ड लाइफ इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडिया देहरादून। द प्रोजेक्ट इज फॉर 10 कोस्टल स्टेट्स स्पेशली उड़ीसा, विच वी हैव ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड। कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द प्रोग्राम की अगर हम बात करें तो प्रिपरेशन ऑफ द मैप ऑफ ब्रीडिंग साइट्स ऑफ सी टर्टल्स, identification of breeding places and habitats along the coastline, migratory routes taken by the sea turtles, development of guidelines to safeguard the turtle mortality rate and for tourism in sea turtle areas, demonstration of use of satellite telemetry to locate the migratory route of sea turtles in the sea. Then there are other important projects or the programs that the government has initiated. So ये basically आप अपने मेंस के हिसाब से भी you can develop this. If the question is on the biodiversity conservation, then these are the steps taken by the government for the biodiversity conservation. So cheetah reintroduction is again very important. सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ कि कहाँ पे हम बात कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ कूनो पालपुर कहाँ पे? हमारी मध्य प्रदेश में। इसके ऊपर भी ऑलरेडी यूपीएससी एक क्वेश्चन पूछ चुका है जिसमें डायरेक्टली आंसर वाज योर कूनो पालपुर, एंड दैट वाज रिलेटेड टू द बेसिकली लायन, कि हम लायन को कहाँ पे रीइंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं। नाउ द टाइगर इज बीइंग reintroduced in the same century कूनो पालपुर इन मध्य प्रदेश। और टाइगर हम लेके कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? नामीबिया से, क्योंकि इंडियन जो टाइगर्स थे, एशियन टाइगर्स थे, दे वेंट एक्सटिंक्ट इन 1952 ओनली, राइट। बट वी हैव द अफ्रीकन टाइगर्स, सॉरी अफ्रीकन चीता। सो वो चीता हम कहाँ से लेके आ रहे हैं? दैट चीता वी आर ब्रिंगिंग फ्रॉम नामीबिया। इसमें काफ़ी टाइम से सुप्रीम कोर्ट में भी केस चल रहा था, और भी बहुत सारी जगह इन्होंने आइडेंटिफाइज किए हैं जहाँ पे हम चीता को रीइंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं, जो बट द फर्स्ट वन विल बी कूनो Palpur. Then we talk about the vulture conservation, National Board for Wildlife, right, and NBWL, who had them. Prime Minister has cleared the plan for conserving vultures. Vultures के बारे में NCERT में भी एक चीज़ दी हुई है, that is diclofenac or antibiotic. Just remember it. So diclofenac is the antibiotic that is being used, which is used by the people and the animals, and those are being consumed by the vultures, and because of that they are dying. So the drug that was used to treat cattle and known to be poison to vultures like diclofenac are banned by the Drug Control General of India. Then Indian Rhino Mission 2020, the goal of Indian Rhino Mission 2020 was to increase the rhino population in Assam, right, in Assam to 3,000 by establishing populations in new areas. Translocation of 2 rhinos earlier in 2020 to Manas National Park in Assam was also proposed. So this is also important कि मानस नेशनल पार्क कहाँ है? असम में है। यहाँ से 2 ट्रांसलोकेशन किया गया था, किनका? 2 राइनोज का। अगर हम बात करते हैं इंडियन राइनो विजन 2020, व्हाट इज दिस? IRV 2020 अगर हम बात करते हैं, टू इंक्रीज द राइनो पॉपुलेशन टू 3,000, राइट। Then we have wetland conservation and management rules 2020 that have been drafted to protect wetlands in India. अभी आपने देखा होगा रिसेंटली, अगर हम रामसर साइट्स की बात करते हैं, so they have been increased to 42 from 27 in around 1.5 year, if you would say. एक साथ 10 इंक्रीज़ की गई थी रामसर साइट सिर्फ 3 स्टेट्स में। उसके बाद हमने दो और इंक्रीज़ की, फिर 2 और इंक्रीज़ किया, और उसके बाद एक और। सो नाउ वी हैव रीच्ड अ टोटल नंबर ऑफ 42 रामसर साइट्स विच आर हाईएस्ट इन एनी ऑफ द एशियन कंट्रीज। जस्ट कीप फॉलोइंग की कौन कौन सी रामसर साइट्स ऐड हुई हैं। देन वी हैव सम सेपरेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिनमें से हमने एक लास्ट टाइम भी डिस्कस की थी, वाइल्ड लाइफ क्राइम कंट्रोल ब्यूरो। देन वी हैव सेंट्रल जू अथॉरिटी, नेशनल टाइगर कंजर्वेशन अथॉरिटी, वाइल्ड लाइफ SOS, वाइल्ड लाइफ ट्रस्ट ऑफ इंडिया. So these are all the organizations that has been set up by government for the biodiversity conservation or the wildlife conservation. Then citizens participation, the Prime Minister has called for active participation of people in conservation efforts. Then if we talk about CITES, so CITES क्या है? It's a legally binding treaty. The important thing is that it's legally binding. It ensures international trade in wild animals and plants and doesn't threaten their survival. So basically ये checks and balances create करता है कि international आपका ट्रेड वाइल्ड एनिमल्स एंड प्लांट्स के बीच में. सो इसमें जनरली लोग प्लांट्स को भूल जाते हैं. सो इट इंक्लूड्स बोथ फ्लोरा एंड फोना, राइट. Resolution was adopted in 1963 under IUCN and it came into force in 1975. Then we move to the next topic. Next topic is related to the wildfires in Simlipal. So इसमें क्या आपको क्या बताना है? Where is Simlipal located? So Simlipal is located where? In Odisha near Mayurbhanj. Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. It's a biosphere reserve. It is also a tiger's reserve. Recently, there was a fire that broke out in the Simlipal Biosphere Reserve. Now it is under control. So most common hazard in the forest is, as you all know, it's forest fire. इसके अगर हम causes की बात करते हैं तो forest fire के causes क्या होते हैं? There are basically two types of causes. One is natural and the other is anthropogenic or being caused by the human. So natural में क्या हो सकता है? Lightning हो सकती है, rubbing of dried leaves or tree trunks, increasing temperature, advanced heat waves with the early onset of summer and these kind of things. Generally जहाँ पे लॉन्ग ट्रीज होते हैं लाइक पाइन और बैम्बूज के एरिया में बेसिकली इसी वजह से नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न एरिया में बहुत ज़्यादा फॉरेस्ट फायर्स भी होते हैं बिकॉज बैम्बूज आर द लॉन्ग ट्रीज विदाउट लीव्स एंड व्हेन दे फॉल दे रब when they fall they rub with each other and they create a spark and sometimes that spark leads to fire, right? Then anthropogenic reasons की बात करते हैं. So burning of matchsticks, torchwood, बीड़ी, cigarettes or spark produced when dry pine needles or leaves fall on the electric pole. This is also very important reason. ये हमने कहाँ पे देखा है जनरली pine leaves वाला. This is being found in the hilly areas of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. So when temporarily built huts are left behind with fires, आप लोग जनरली लोग पिकनिक के लिए जाते हैं and they use the huts or they lit a fire over there and they leave it like that only. सो सेकंड की फ्यूल क्या होता है? अब जो फॉरेस्ट फायर्स होती हैं उसमें एज अ फ्यूल क्या एक्ट करता है? दैट इज सरफेस लेवल पे ड्राई फॉलन ट्री लीव्स और ड्राई ग्रास, वीड्स, लो ब्रशवुड्स, डेडवुड्स ऑन द फॉरेस्ट फ्लोर, लॉग्स, स्टम्प्स एटसेट्रा. बिलो सरफेस लेवल की अगर हम बात करें तो डिकेइंग मटेरियल सच एज हमस, वुड, श्रब, रूट्स, मच एंड पीट कैन ऑल्सो सपोर्ट द कंबशन. फिर अबव सरफेस लेवल की बात करें तो ड्राइंग स्टैंडिंग ट्रीज, मॉशेस, लिचेंस, ड्राई epiphytic or parasitic plants, fallen branches that can spread the fire, right? So concern basically what happens because of the forest fire. अगर हम concern या फिर हम बात करते हैं impacts क्या होते हैं forest fire के. So if we talk about the impacts, then it damages the regeneration of forest and their productivity. It adversely impacts the products and capacities provided by the forest. Forest helps maintain aquifers and continuous flow of streams and springs and provide firewood, fodder and non-timber. So these are all the things that will be impacted if there is a forest fire. So it will adversely affect the product and its capacities of the forest, right? The third thing will be destroys the organic matter in the soil and exposes the top layer to erosion. So इसकी वजह से desertification होगा और soil erosion भी होगा. Impact on the wildlife as wildlife can get killed and last होगा हमारे पास क्या होगा? Impact on the life and property of the human, right? If the forest fire reaches the areas where there is human settlement. सो अगर हम अब इसके बात करते हैं कि प्रिवेंट कैसे करना चाहिए, राइट? सो वी हैव सीन कि बेसिकली इम्पैक्ट्स क्या होते हैं. फॉरेस्ट फायर कॉज किस वजह से होती हैं? टू रीजंस होते हैं, नेचुरल और एंथ्रोपोजेनिक. नेचुरल और एंथ्रोपोजेनिक रीजंस हमने डिस्कस किए. आफ्टर दैट वी डिस्कस्ड व्हाट कैन बी द फ्यूल टू क्रिएट दैट फायर. then we discussed what can be the impact or the concerns that are being caused due to the forest fire. Then now how can they be prevented? How can the forest fires be prevented? So the forest fire can be prevented by forecasting fire prone data, timely clearing camping sites, early burning of the forest or dry litter. Basically not the forest, basically the dry litter is being early burned. It should be collected so that कि हमारे पास fuel ही खत्म हो जाए. So basically this is the method from where we are going to reduce the fuel. Growing strips of fire hardy plants और क्रिएटिंग फायर लाइन्स. बेसिकली फायर लाइन्स में क्या होता है कि उन्हें मटेरियल ही ना मिले. ये मान लो एक फॉरेस्ट है, सो यहाँ पे हम डिफरेंट लाइन क्रिएट करते हैं. मान लो यहाँ पे क्रिएट कर दिया, यहाँ पे वहाँ से हमने क्या किया कि जो भी एनीथिंग दैट कैन कैच फायर, कोई भी ट्रीज लाइन हो गई, श्रब्स, बुशेज, एवरीथिंग विल बी क्लियर. सो सेपरेट लाइन्स बना दी जाएंगी. तो अगर फॉरेस्ट फायर यहाँ पे लगती है तो वो इसी एरिया में रह के ख़त्म हो जाएगी. ये यहाँ पे लगती है तो वो इस एरिया में रह के ख़त्म हो जाएगी. सो दैट कैन बी ऑल्सो डन. और कंट्रोल्ड बर्न्स आर ऑल्सो यूज टू प्रिवेंट फॉरेस्ट फायर. सो दीज आर द सम ऑफ द प्रिवेंटिव मेथड्स. Then what is controlled burn? A controlled burn is a wildfire that people set intentionally for a specific purpose. So basically यहाँ पे हम फायर स्टार्ट करते हैं बट इट इज़ इन द कंट्रोल्ड मैनर कि हम इसे कभी भी रोक सकते हैं. और वो इसलिए किया जाता है कि ताकि एक साथ फायर ऐसी अनकंट्रोलेबल फॉर्म में ना लगे कि बहुत ज़्यादा हेक्टिक हो जाए या बहुत मुश्किल हो जाए उसे करना. सो वेल थॉट आउट एंड वेल मैनेज्ड कंट्रोल्ड बर्न्स कैन बी incredibly beneficial for forest management because they can help stop an out of control wildfire. The technique is called back burning, and it involves setting a controlled fire in the path of an approaching wildfire. All the flammable material is burnt up and extinguished, and when the wildfire approaches, there is no more fuel left for it to keep going, and it dies out basically. So, what are the अदर थिंग्स दैट कैन बी डन? अगर हमने प्रिवेंशन, चलो अभी प्रिवेंशन नहीं की, फायर स्टार्ट हो गई, पहले हमने मेथड देखे कि प्रिवेंट कैसे की जा सकते, प्रिवेंट नहीं कर पाए, देन हाउ कैन इट बी कंट्रोल? सो बेसिकली अर्ली डिटेक्शन एंड क्विक एक्शन बाय फायर फाइटिंग स्क्वाड्स, द फर्स्ट थिंग शुड बी. द सेकंड इज बेस्ट वे टू कंट्रोल अ फॉरेस्ट फायर इज देयरफॉर टू प्रिवेंट इट फ्रॉम स्प्रेडिंग, विच कैन बी डन बाय क्रिएटिंग फायर ब्रेक्स. जो मैंने आपको बताया, फायर ब्रेक्स का मतलब इन द शेप ऑफ स्मॉल क्लियरिंग ऑफ डिचेज एंड द फॉरेस्ट. राइट, अब हम इनिशिएटिव्स की बात कर लेते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट ने फॉरेस्ट फायर से बचने के लिए क्या क्या इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं. सो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट विल बी नेशनल एक्शन प्लान ऑन फॉरेस्ट फायर. So it focuses on holistic management of forest fire scenarios in the country. And then the second is the state crisis management plan, and the funding provisions from central schemes coordination for various agencies are also the part of this plan. Then near real time forecast forest fire alert, that is known as FAST. So basically इसके तीन हमारे subsequent हो चुके हैं, FAST 1, then इसका second edition is known as, or the improved version, FAST 1 के बाद FAST 2.0, then FAST 3.0. First is forest fire alert. So the state forest department has alerted the forest fire location detected by the Moody's. This can be again a prelims question, जो यहाँ पे आपको Moody's दिख रहा है, या फिर हमारे पास SNPP VVIRS दिख रहा है. सो जनरली एक बार मैंने आपको पहले भी शायद बताया था, एम स्ट्राइप्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं, यूपीएससी आज डायरेक्टली व्हाट इज दिस रिलेटेड टू. सो इट वाज रिलेटेड टू द टाइगर सेंसस, या फिर टाइगर्स की काउंटिंग के लिए. इन द सेम वे देयर कैन बी अ क्वेश्चन दैट रिसेंटली सीन इन न्यूज और व्हाटएवर, मूडीज और SNPP VIRS, these are related to what, and there can be several options. So they are related to the forest fire. So basically alerted, state forest departments are alerted of forest fire locations detected by the Moody's. Moody's is moderate resolution imaging spectroradiometer sensor on board Aqua and Terra satellites of NASA since 2014. So किसकी satellites हैं ये Moody? This satellite is from NASA. And from 2017, FSI has incorporated another sensor, that is SNPP VIRS Suomo National Polar Orbiting Partnership Visible Infrared Imaging Radiometer Suite. So try to remember the name if you can, otherwise leave it. Which has a good nighttime detection capability as compared to Moody's. So it is better than Moody's. How? Because it can detect in the night also, and can also detect small fires and under canopy fires. So basically sometimes it happens कि ये आपका ट्री है, यहाँ पे कैनोपी इस तरीके से डेवलप हो रखी है बहुत सारे ट्रीज की. सो यहाँ पे सैटेलाइट को ऊपर से दिखेगा कि नहीं कि यहाँ पे फायर लगी हुई है. सो Moody's ये डिटेक्ट नहीं कर पाएगा, बट जो हमारा ये सिस्टम है SNPP VIRS, this can detect the fires under canopy also and even in the night also. So with the launch of forest fire alert system 2, the entire process has been made completely automated, which has effectively reduced the dissemination timeline. So now we talk about, we will see कि forest fire, ये forest fire alert system 1, 2 और 3 इनमें differences क्या हैं. So forest fire pre-warning alerts have also been introduced in India, developed by indigenous pre-warning alert system. The alerts are based on parameters like forest cover, forest type, climatic variables, recent fire incidents over the area. Then burnt scar assessment. It is important to assess the forest area affected by the forest fire, to assess damage to forest and biodiversity, as well as to plan restoration measures. In year 2015 and 16, high temporal data from Indian Remote Sensing IRS, IWIFS Advanced Wild Field Sensor was used to delineate burn scars. So these are the steps that the government has taken. Apart from that, there is one more important step, that is large forest fires monitoring program. So large forest fire monitoring program, this is also one of the major steps that has been taken by the Indian government. In 2019, FSI launched the beta version of large forest fire monitoring program using near real time SNPP VIRS data. This program is a part of FAST 3.0. राइट. सो दिस इज फास्ट वन में बेसिकली डेटा प्रोसेसिंग वाज मैनुअल, उसकी वजह से टाइम लगा था. वंस इन अ डे ओनली टेक्स्ट अलर्ट्स कैन बी सेंड एंड एट द डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल ओनली. सो इट वाज फ्रॉम 2004 to 2016. देन इन 2017 वी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड fast version of FAST 2.0, which is fully automated. So it reduces the time lag 4 times a day instead of 1 times a day. Email and SMS alert both. So we have incorporated emails also apart from SMS. and up to beat level with RFA info. And then in 2019 we reached the version 3 automated large forest fire monitoring, which we have recently seen. Large forest fire monitoring has been included up to 6 times a day. Geo portal, state portal, WMS and JPG images are also sent. Improved feedback, right? So this is the difference, and this is the timeline 2004 to 16, then 17 and then 19. Then सिमलीपाल बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो इट इज़ वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व. इट ड्राइव्स इट्स नेम फ्रॉम सिमूल, दैट इज सिल्क कॉटन ट्री, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा पाए जाते हैं सिल्क कॉटन ट्रीज. सो इट ड्राइव्स इट्स नेम फ्रॉम सिल्क कॉटन ट्री. देन इट लाइज इन उड़ीसा मयूरभंज डिस्ट्रिक्ट. You don't need to remember the areas, so you can skip this. Then if we talk about flora, so as I was telling you before also, sal is the dominant tree species here also. Fauna की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो it houses melanistic tigers. So this is important. यहाँ पे एक बहुत ही rare kind of tigers मिलते हैं which are black in color. So it also houses melanistic tigers which are found only in Odisha. Melanistic tiger or black tiger is a rare color variant of the tiger and is not a distinct species or geographic subspecies. Right, pronity to forest fires. बेसिकली क्यों ये फॉरेस्ट फायर यहाँ पे लगती हैं, क्यों ये प्रोन है फॉरेस्ट फायर के लिए? बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑनसेट ऑफ समर्स एंड टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ ऑटम द forest area remains vulnerable to forest fire. Here forest fires are recurrent annual phenomena. The last incident of major forest fire was in 2015. This is the map which shows you the Simlipal National Park. Here Simlipal Sanctuary, right? Then we move to our second last topic, that is CERAWeek Global Energy Environment Leadership Award. It's a very small topic. Basically, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has received this award, Global Energy and Environmental Leadership Award. किसने दिया है? CERAWeek. It stands for Cambridge Energy Research Associates Week. Right. So it is being celebrated since 1983. It is being organized in Houston in March every year since 1983 and is considered as the world's premier annual energy platform. CERAWeek 2021 is being convened virtually. Basically the award was instituted in 2016 only. It recognized the commitment of a leadership towards the future of global energy and environment for offering solutions and policies for energy access, affordability and environmental stewardship. So PM Modi will receive the award and deliver a keynote lecture at the inaugural of this event. Then we move to the last topic, that is related to the Pench National Park. Pench National Park, it is where it is situated. It is situated in Madhya Pradesh. It borders with Maharashtra, so covers a total area of this in the southern part of Madhya Pradesh, Sioni and Chindwara districts, which also shares the boundary with Maharashtra. So Pench National Park, basically it lies on the boundary of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, but it is in Madhya Pradesh. So Pench was declared a sanctuary in 1965, but in 1975 it rose as a national park, and in 1992 it became a tiger reserve. Then if we talk about the flora and fauna that are being found, so flora, if we talk Mahua, white kulu, salai, saja, these are some of the things that are found here. The park is filled with grasslands, plants and saplings. If we talk about fauna, then Royal Bengal tiger, jackal, peafowl, wild dog. Peafowl is basically peacock only, and wild boar, sloth bear, these are found over here. The interesting facts, if we talk about the Pench Tiger Reserve, it has its area segregated into two divisions, प्रियदर्शनी नेशनल पार्क एंड मोगली पेंच नेशनल पार्क. सो मोगली कहाँ से आया? ये आपने जो जंगल बुक लिखी गई थी, जंगल बुक वाज बेस्ड ऑन दिस नेशनल पार्क ओनली, एंड दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ नेम एज मोगली पेंच सेंचुरी, एंड द वन इज प्रियदर्शनी नेशनल पार्क. So it was named after river Pench, which flows from the north to south, divides the national park into almost equal halves, namely eastern and western half. So Pench River flows from the Pench National Park. The park finds mention in the Jungle Book, written by a renowned English author Rudyard Kipling in 1894, before independence. The story was worldwide appreciated, so the park became one of the popular national parks in the world and also a prominent tourist attraction in India. So that's all for today, guys. We will meet again next week with the current affairs of the next week of environment and ecology. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Do let us know in the comment section. Thank you.